Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out a new show. This is the pilot episode, episode 1 for Fringe. Now it was kind of a toss-up of which show I was going to do internally. I was looking at this. I was also looking at Mindhunter and Severance, but they are on Hulu, Disney Plus, and Apple Plus, and I don't have either of those platforms. So Fringe won. I've looked at the cast on IMDb. I've seen a few familiar faces, a few familiar names. In particular, Anna Torv, who I only know as Tess from the TV show version of The Last of Us, as well as she had a very small role in The Pacific in one episode that I watched recently. I know that the Steward of Gondor is in this. Denethor, I think his name is, who is also Billy Butcher's dad in The Boys. So I'm familiar with him. There's a few others. One guy, I forget his name. I know he just died recently. He was a big part of The Wire, and I know him from Zavala from Destiny 2. So, you know, I'm curious to see what the show has to offer. A whole bunch of channels that I watch, other reaction channels, have either watched Fringe or mentioned Fringe and reference it, and I'm kind of curious. I'm a fan of other channels, and I want to watch their reactions. But I don't want to spoil the show, so it's like I have to watch the show in order to unlock it for myself to then watch other people watch it. Because I don't know how people watch reactions who don't know the material, because you only get like a fucking snippet of the material. Seems like you're cheating yourself from a lot of material, because most of it gets cut for the sake of copyright. So if you see me making awkward jokes, references, talking to the camera, trying to think out loud, it's not so much that I'm pining for all of your attention. It's that no one's a psychic, you can't read my mind, and I need edit points and things to cut to for the copyright. Speaking of not being able to read my mind, I take this to be some sort of paranormal show, maybe mystery show. I'm not saying it's X-Files, but maybe it's like another incarnation, another generation type of, type of that show. I've seen both of the X-Files movies, but never watched any of the TV show. So that's just me kind of shooting from the hip guessing here. Kind of like how there's the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits and Tales from the Crypt and anthology horrors that come and go. Like this could be kind of like the X-Files of a newer generation. So I know this show is 5 seasons. There's like 20 plus episodes per season, except the last one. Holy shit. That's a lot of material to get through. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's kind of late at night. I'm jacked up on caffeine. Watched Mr. Robot earlier today. I'm feeling good. Okay, I've been rambling for almost 5 minutes now. We're gonna have to cut that down to something more reasonable and get on with it. So, without any more stalling, here we go with the first episode of the first season of Fringe. This is the pilot. Here we go. Hell of a start, right? Normally pilot is like the pilot episode. Is the first episode about the actual pilot? I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm enjoying watching this guy be in fear, and that's just a little out of character for me. I went to film school with a guy who had to take a set of needles with him. I think he had diabetes, and would be at the bar drinking, and he'd put it on the counter, and people would be like, think he's taking drugs or something. Fucking excuse me, what the fuck? Was it a biological agent? Is everybody blistering up? Oh boy. Now we get a piano intro. Is this The Leftovers? What are we doing here?
Oh my god.
There she goes.
This bed is loud.
I almost said there she blows, but I'm not that clever.
Department's not a massive fan of office romance. Policy summer was endless, wasn't it?
Fraternization. That was a big thing in the military is, you know, don't date within your unit and don't be too far apart in rank. And
I love you.
I haven't caught names yet, I'm sorry. No! No! Trying to suck them titties, man.
Olivia Dunham.
Okay.
Of course, sir.
It looks like a cross between John Cena and James Marsden.
Agent Scott.
Agent Scott. That's kind of what augmented reality looks like if you ever play with it on phones or goggles or anything. It's just, there it is, you know, fucking Pikachu on the sidewalk. Wait, so autopilot landed the jet by itself? Is it that good?
Towers lost contact 3 hours in. They thought it might have been electrical interference.
Is that Caparzo from Saving Private Ryan?
No signs of life? Who's flying the plane?
Logan's one of the first airports with the Pearl autopilot system.
Well, let me assure you, we'd be happy to treat you as family, too.
They made him throw up in front of his whole unit.
Amateur hour. Can't stand a plane full of melted bodies. Punk ass bitch.
Although this is a joint task force, you are all now reporting to the Department of Homeland Security. I'm Special Agent in Charge, Broyds.
Yeah, that's the guy from The Wire and from Destiny 2.
I like my information firsthand. That's not redundancy, that's accountability.
I know exactly who you are.
All I hear is Zavala from the Destiny 2, man.
Let's get serious, people. We can take back our home, or we die trying.
Whoa! That is way overdone.
What kind of terrorism is this?
Who says it's terrorism?
Very brief glimpses, smoke and in the shadow, the light only catching it here and there.
Sources tell us the plane was deliberately set ablaze by the CDC after all passengers were...
They burned the fucking plane afterwards.
You're telling me that's my assignment?
Yeah, honey. Would you mind?
You said you loved me. That was a big deal.
Yeah, well, you didn't say anything back, so I just let it go.
Now something's gonna happen to him. This is how Team America started in the beginning of the movie. Carson!
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I'm a federal agent.
Yeah, excuse me, was that just a fucking lab in a storage unit?
I have a gun. I will shoot.
He's point blank. You could have gotten him in the leg. I mean, I know I'm not usually for that movie stunt shooting bullshit, but you should be able to leg someone pretty close.
Hands in the air.
The lab is gone. Pitch Black did a lot of shots like that where shit was stretched and then it would come in.
While he survived the initial blast, Agent Scott was exposed to some synthetic chemical compounds, work that was done in the labs you found.
Ooh, did he get melted too?
We haven't been able to identify the substance that's affecting him.
That is like some proto-molecule from The Expanse. Yeah, he kind of looked like Chernobyl, just like a big bruise.
Says the guy's been at St. Clair's for 17 years.
I saw that.
It's Zavala. I cannot not hear him. I'm so sorry, guys.
If you go find his next of kin and have him escort you in, talk to Bishop, uncover something substantial, and I will have your back. Is the son local too?
Not exactly.
Not exactly local. We're going to fucking Baghdad.
So this guy's Walter Bishop's son.
They even kept the bee from Baghdad in the ground view looking up at...
I've heard of Flight 627.
The Hamburg flight, of course.
You may be able to help us with that.
I just got here, honey.
Isn't that the second person who called her honey or sweetums or some shit?
Your father may be able to save someone who's dying. Someone I care about very much. I have your file. Or I let certain people know your whereabouts.
I like Anna Torv's green eyes. Green Eye Master Race. Green Eye Master Race. I think he gets cut out of the green screen, but...
They gave him the resources to do whatever work he wanted, which was primarily in an area called Fringe science.
Ah, okay. Backdrop of the show here.
You mean pseudoscience?
I suppose. Things like mind control, teleportation, astral projection.
Cryptoids and shit.
You know what? Why don't you go on ahead?
Yeah, the father-son interaction may interfere with the gathering of information.
Dr. Bishop, special day. You have a visitor.
I knew someone would come. Eventually.
She's really pretty. I don't know if I can watch this show. I'm distracted.
Agent Scott was injured the next
Dermis,
day.
already indurated. Translucent, muscular tissue visible.
On Scott, you mean can you see through his skin? Can it be reversed?
These intense close-ups, the facial expressions, the micro movements. Like, there's not a lot happening, but there's a lot happening. They're showcasing talent right here.
You came here today with my son. I'm not allowed visitors, you see, except immediate family.
I talked over him calling her sweetheart. I just want to acknowledge that I did hear it.
I'm unable to deduce without a first-hand examination. I must see Mr. Scott myself.
You wanted my father. Now you've got my father. Sweetheart.
Uh-oh. Don't do it.
What about Bishop?
Left to right, insane and irritating, and also my only hope.
Massive dynamic blame now.
He and Bishop used to share a lab.
I'm trying to figure out how much time is passing between location to location, day to day to day. Like in those crime SVU shows where they like can sequence all the DNA and get the person arrested and caught in the same day and shit. Kind of like Senator Kelly from the first X-Men movie. Does it hurt when I do this? It's weird seeing his teeth and his skull behind everything. It's like if you think about when we close our eyes are still there looking forward. It's just really creepy to think about.
I want you to know I've successfully had Dr. Walter Bishop released from St. Clair's, and he requires the use of his old laboratory.
I'm sorry, what?
So this fringe scientist is going to have his fringe lab in the basement of Harvard.
Isn't something going on between you and Agent Scott?
Get the lab for Bishop.
He wants a cow.
Purebred, not crossbred. This is important.
Like, it looks like he's played a werewolf or something. I don't know.
Anything better than a cow's a human. Unless you need milk, then you really need a cow.
Looking at my phone as they do lab stuff. Gonna miss some clues cause I'm looking at my phone. Oh fuck. Cruel Intentions.
Copy.
That's where I know him from. Okay.
There was no file.
I needed you back here.
So that was what you were bluffing?
A complete fucking bluff.
I could help, yes. If I had a precise inventory of what was in that storage facility when
But
it
we don't
detonated.
have it.
Shared dream state.
What do you mean shared?
Fucking connect to him.
Of two distinct minds to allow the sharing of information across the unconscious state.
And then that leads to the technology in Pacific Rim so that the two people can pilot the mechs.
You're saying I can talk to John in a coma, and he can tell me what the suspect looks like?
It's not an exact science.
It's not even
There was
science.
a J-Lo movie that did that.
This technique.
The Cell, right?
Are you sure? I'm sure.
You bring in this monster, and you're asking her to go into that mind.
Of course, you'd have to have an electromagnetic probe placed in the base of your skull whilst immersed without clothing in the old tank. And you'd be heavily drugged.
Oh yeah, cool. Just what every woman wants to hear.
Mix of ketamine, neurontin, lysergic acid diethylamide.
That last one's
LSD, yeah. It's gonna be really awkward. If your dad is seeing your future girlfriend naked, you know, and like, ugh.
John would do it for me.
Fucking soldier.
Set it up.
Excellent. Let's make some LSD.
You've cleared all this with Broyles.
Oh yeah, pretty
Somewhat.
much.
Is that a cow?
Yeah, that's Jean.
I feel like they're gonna try to synthesize flesh or something with all that silicone and that fucking cow back there. It's reminding me of the cloners from Invincible, because they had the meat patties.
I got you.
Yeah, I will be one of the last people on Earth to get a neural implant into my head or any sort of bandwidth enhancement, communications built. Yeah, no. I'll take artificial hearts. You know, I'll take artificial limbs, but once you plug in, I'm out.
Will rip open your consciousness.
The film got really grainy already. It usually takes me a little while to learn names, but there's like 100 episodes of this show, so I'll get there, assuming the channel isn't shut down, banned, or I'm dead by then. It's a crazy world. Yeah. Oh, sorry. The blue light, the transparency, again, proto-molecule, the expanse. It goes there.
Hello?
Not too indifferent than 11 from Stranger Things and her kind of astral projection.
That's my uncle's kayak.
Yeah, The Cell also had weird scenes with the shared consciousness, but that's because she was linked up with a murderer.
Is that you?
He gets an erection while he's a jelly monster in a coma, and his shit just flops over into a puddle. Cut that out.
I need you to show me his face. I saw John get hurt. I was there. I saw him.
Frog with an omega, or not an omega, but what's that symbol? The Greek butterfly, hand, apple, frog.
This is the suspect we're looking for.
Man, woman, camera, TV. Ooh.
He was a passenger on flight 627.
I don't understand.
Wait. He couldn't have been in the storage place.
He wasn't the one who injected himself, was he?
You're telling me he has a twin?
Yeah. No home address, only a history of employment.
Our primary suspect is a former employee of yours, Richard Stieg. Whatever killed those people on that plane got on board through his insulin pen.
Please assemble everything we have on Richard Stieg for Agent Dunham here.
Everything except some parts, right?
Do you believe that Stieg may be part of the pattern?
I'm sorry, part of the...
Oh, I assumed you had clearance. Be careful. And good luck.
Our technology is exploding, but we're still fucking monkeys. They're barely out of the tree.
Go for children.
What the fuck is happening? This is like Borat when he had the cow in his room.
Meet you out front.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this whole season is going to be like a handprint with an extra finger. You can't do that to me. Like in Gattaca, the piano player. Keen eye, alright. Boom! He's just gonna blow up the alleyway too. I'm sure he's got more bombs, right? Oh, fuck. I was gonna say she's a lot more graceful, but...
I've got some questions for you. You want immunity. I want a detailed account of all the synthetic chemicals you had in that storage facility.
Oh, this episode opened with that crazy-ass plane thing. It just can't end with an alleyway apartment chase.
We might not know what it is, but we know what it does. So if I wanted to, I could extract the contaminated fluids from his body. That would allow me to slip it to you whenever I wanted to.
No.
I don't know how I'm gonna cut that together, but they came to a plan. But in what world is a physical side effect translucency, you know? Transparency? What has happened to his cells?
You've done some solid work here. In the past 9 months, there have been 36 authenticated incidents like the Hamburg flight.
It's like dark.
Fishermen off the coast of Sri Lanka.
See, there's Jonas's raincoat, you know?
Intel that's classified above top secret.
So how is that even possible?
Come work for me, and I'll get you the clearance to tell.
Stop!
Oh, right, because the lady at the Institute, the pattern, right? She didn't know about it.
I have a job.
This is a more important job. Anything, anybody you need, you can have.
God, I really want to reinstall Destiny 2 now. I really do. Apple with... Hickman's coming back, it looked like.
I had a dream about you.
A change of clothes for Agent Scott.
He was just see-through.
Our immunity agreement holds, but there's still a whole lot more we have to talk about, like why you killed your own brother.
I was threatened by a guy from your office.
It's funny because it could be a booby trap that he's setting you towards.
I'll make this simple. You're not selling to anyone else. You do that, we will come after you. I will come after you.
That's not Officer Scott, is it? That's not his...
Let me assure you, we'd be happy to treat you as family, too.
Oh, fuck me. This is very unfortunate. Like, what an emotional roller coaster this must be, you know. She did all this to save him. And then he's fucking involved with pressuring the guy who released the shit. Wow. Face to face with him. And he fucking tried to run her off the road. Fuck you, guy. You should be slapping cuffs on him. Nah, are you okay? Last word.
Ask yourself, why Doyle sent you to storage facility?
I don't believe he's like trying to give her some last minute words of advice or, you know, insight. She jumped through all these hoops, did all this crazy shit. Just in the last day or two to save him. And then he tries to kill her. And we take our jaded, mistrusted baggage with us down the road to the next person to hold.
We're supposed to protect the world. Where one breath of the wrong air can incinerate you from the inside out. I mean, how do we protect people?
That slow push in on her. You take the job.
I'm not going to use false threats with you anymore. I don't need to. The threats are real.
What happened on the plane is just the beginning.
How long's he been dead?
5 hours.
Question him.
Question him? Are we gonna plug into him and torture him there, or are we gonna wake him up? Like, how? The symbols. Have those been the symbols we've been seeing? Like frog and... Is that Illuminati triangle? Yeah, like frog, leaf, hand, apple. Interesting. Alright. How's the first episode? Let's get to the outro. Okay, Fringe episode 1 from season 1. There was not a description on HBO, but IMDb says, after a plane from Hamburg returns with no survivors, HBI agent Olivia Dunham goes after the only person that might shed some light on the incident, a scientist that has been in a mental hospital for the last 17 years. Okay. Fun episode. I'd say that's one of the better first episodes of a show that I've seen. Sometimes shows will kind of go slow for a little while before they take off, and I think that's why, say, 1899 suffered, because it, you know, with today's attention span, if you don't just come out swinging, people are going to click off. You have to go big on these things and knock it out of the park, and I think they did a really good job here, story-wise, performance-wise. I say the weakest aspect was some of the effects. I thought were a little dated, maybe a little low quality, but it did not break me out of what I was watching. It did not make me feel detached from the moment, and I'm very curious going forward. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in on the final cut, but I'm curious as to if, like, each season is its own arc, you know, its own story, or if each episode is its own little X-Files like investigation, or are there going to be multiple stories that maybe take 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15, you know, 10, half the season to tell, and then it switches gears, and then the people and, you know, things come back around. You know, if you can kind of let me know without spoiling anything somehow, that would be great. Yeah, Olivia, right? That's the only name I took away from there. That Dr. Bishop, Stieg, was that the guy who got smothered, or was that the, This is the first episode. In editing, I'll see more names. I'll pick up on details as we go along, but it'll take me a while. I'm a lot better with faces. Alright, this is going to do it for me for now. I'm looking very forward to episode 2. I'm not going to watch it until this posts, because I want to see what people say. I don't want to step off on the season with false assumptions or kind of wrong footing. Even though I know it'll self-correct and we'll get there, I just want to make sure, at least for the step off, I'm in a good place. Okay, so that'll do it for me. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope this was worth your time and look forward to seeing you soon enough in the second episode. Thanks again, and goodbye.